In the most remote islands of the celestial realm, rumors of rebels and uprisings are common. But more recent rumors speak of dark forces and villages being destroyed. You have been sent to investigate.
Sapphire, empowered by the spirit of lakes and rivers, the Kappa. The cunning House of Topaz, wielding the fiery and illusory spells learned from the Kitsune. The fierce House of Ruby, blessed by the winged lords of the mountains, the Tengu. The secretive House of Jade, weaving deadly traps in the dark forests of the Ogumo. As ruler of the islands, you must keep the balance between man and kami. But dark times are ahead. An ancient enemy has returned. Unite the houses and gather samurai wielding both blade and magic. Such is the path of the Mahokenshi.
What is up, people? Van from the Vaniverse gaming channel here, bringing you another video. Today's video is a first impressions of a game I got to try out in early access called Mahokenshi. This game is very unique as it combines several game styles into one, which I really enjoy. And so I was very intrigued by how they would play together. And I was also very pleasantly surprised on how the game worked. Now, the game is releasing in 2023. There's no actual release date. Just based on what the early preview looked like, I'm sure that it's going to be releasing early 2023. But also, this video is early access, so there's a lot of things that might change, and they may have, extended out the release date just based on the feedback they got from the early preview. So hopefully this video gives you enough information about the game to decide if it's something you want to wish list for when it releases next year. So with all that out of the way, let's kind of talk about what is Mahokenshi. So Mahokenshi is basically you are a Mahokenshi, almost a samurai, whatever you want to call it. And your job is to rid the celestial island of demons. And so there are many different missions that you go on, and each mission has its own unique style. It's either kill all these by this X time, or just kill these, or save this many people, get to here by this many turns. Very, very unique styles of missions. But there's a main story mission, and then there's the side quest missions. So you can skip the side quest missions and just do the main story. But as you progress up in the main story, the content gets harder and harder and harder. And so you're going to have to grow your Mahokenshi as you level up so that you're stronger, which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But when you first start, you have to choose a house. There are 4 houses that you can choose from: Ruby, Topaz, Sapphire, and Jade. And each house has its own unique gimmick, which you kind of saw in the early access trailer. The House of Ruby is what I chose to play through, and that's very melee-based, very strength-based, and they actually get benefits from being on mountain tiles, which we'll talk about here in a minute. Then the House of Sapphire is a little bit more protection-based, a little bit more movement. The House of Topaz is a little bit more damage-based, more fiery, magic-y damage. And then the House of Jade is more traps and poisons and those things. And each house gets benefits from certain tiles depending on what they're on. So once you choose the house you like, the play style you like, you're going to be given a base starter deck. So very similar to how Slay the Spire works is you have the different houses, which are almost like the Ironclad and the Silent and all that from Slay the Spire. And then you're giving cards that are kind of base for that particular class. Then, as you progress through the map, as you're trying to complete the mission, you can pick up more cards, and you can discard cards, and you can upgrade cards. And you do that by killing creatures and getting coins, getting gold, and then using that to purchase things. And then there's different shrines that give you temporary buffs, and there's healing, and there's all these different things. And so it's an adventure game because you're going through these missions and you're completing these beautiful 3D maps with the music, which I really like. And then it's a deck building game because as you progress through, you need to continue to enhance your starter deck that you're given at the beginning of the map of the mission so that you can end up getting to the last boss and be able to kill him, because if you're not upgrading your deck, then you're probably not going to have great cards. And then on top of that, it's strategy, because how you build your deck is very important based on the mission type. In addition to that, like the map itself provides strategy where each individual tile provides different benefits. So if you're on like a mountain tile, it might increase your armor. If you're on a forest tile, it might increase your armor, but not as much as the mountain tile. But then at the same time, those tiles can hinder your movement, right? It's going to cost you more movement to move over mountains than it is to move over land, unless you have a fly ability. So that's where the strategy comes in, is certain decks are more geared towards certain environments. So the House of the Ruby, who I chose, they get their strength from the mountains. So a lot of the red cards that belong to the House of Ruby have different benefits if you're on a mountain tile. And so one of the benefits might be you gain an extra card draw, or you gain extra strength, or maybe you gain the ability to fly, which allows you to traverse all of the tiles without having to pay extra movement. So it really depends on how you build your deck. But what's good about Mahokenshi is you're not forced to take all the same color. So like in Slay the Spire, you're forced to, if you pick the Ironclad, that all the cards are going to be red unless you get a special artifact that allows you to pick up different cards. That is not the case in Mahokenshi. So you don't have to just pick red cards as you go through the different missions in the map. You can pick cards from all the different houses. So because you can pick cards from all the different houses, and there's over 200 cards to kind of choose from, it really opens up the possibility of what you're going to build your deck out. And it really depends on the mission. Like if you have to complete certain things in a certain amount of time, you might want to build a deck that is much more movement based with flies, and so you can use your energy points to move across the map quicker. So very similar to Slay the Spire and other card games, every turn you can only use so many cards based on the energy you have, and then you have to end your turn. Well, that works when you're not in combat to traverse the map, but then when you get into combat, you're not going to want to use all your energy on you doing movement. You're going to want to use your energy to do attacks and do damage to the opponent. And once your turn is over, it then becomes their turn. So just keep that in mind, is as soon as you are alerted, or as soon as an enemy is alerted to you, then you go next to them. They also get to go on turns. So you just want to be careful that you're not spending all of your energy to move, and you have cards available to actually take your turn and defeat the enemy. So with all that being said, just looking at the game from a whole, you progress through missions, you get a starter deck at the beginning of every mission, you build out that deck, you improve it, and then you end up beating that mission. And you do that by stopping along the way. Now, another thing to note is each mission, you will start with a certain set of hit points. Let's just say it's 100. Well, those do not regenerate. And so unless you find healing potions, you can't heal. So part of the strategy of the game is knowing on the map where those healing potions are and seeing if you have to make your way towards them in order to make it through the entire map. So if you're not building your deck correctly and you're getting into combats and you're not using the terrain and doing it to a good strategy and you're taking a lot of damage, you might not be able to finish the mission because you're going to use up all the healing that's on the map, and then you won't have any healing left. So just keep that in mind, is as you're progressing through the missions, you're going to go to you want to visit the towns, you want to visit the altars, you want to pick up cards, you want to do all the things so that as you progress through it, you're going to get stronger. After you beat the mission, you're going to be given these special coins. So usually it's about 100 coins. And this is where you get to build your Mahokenshin out and increase their damage. Because as you go up through the mission, all the main missions are going to get harder. So if your character is not getting stronger, then you're never going to be able to progress to the end game and beat the last boss. So how they do that is with points that you use to enhance your Mahokenshi. So for instance, very similar to a World of Warcraft or to any other game where you have a character builder, there's 3 trees. There's a tree that really helps your offense, there's a tree that really helps your defense, and then there's a tree that helps like your support. And so once you beat a mission and you get those 100 points, you can choose where you want to fill them in, your defense, your offense, and those are permanent choices. So once you choose that for your Mahokenshi, every time they go to a new map, they get those benefits. So essentially, you're making your Mahokenshi stronger in between the missions so that as you progress up through the missions, you're getting strong enough to beat them. Now, when it comes to the difficulty of the game, there are some maps that are really easy, and there are some maps that are actually quite difficult. And so I like that not all of it is a face roll and you can easily get through it. It really does require some strategy and some good deck building to beat some of the maps. In addition, when you get to the end game, it gets really difficult, and if you don't structure your deck right, you can easily get killed. I ran into several times where I had to replay the last boss over and over again because I don't think I was quite prepared in order to beat him. And they also don't allow you to stay on a map for a very long time. So on a lot of the maps, if you're taking too long to beat it, they start randomly spawning in creatures to come after you to kind of speed you up so you can't just, lollygag through the mission and gather everything. They want to encourage you to complete the map in a certain amount of time. So all in all, after playing through, I played through the entire story. I beat the game. I probably played through, 20 some side missions. I probably put in 15, 20 hours into the game. And I really enjoyed the game. The game as a whole provides enough character creation almost with deck building and just building out your character's attributes. And the maps are just really pretty. They're all unique. The strategies are different, like mission to mission. Like one mission I might want to go down a certain road depending on which card I got, or another mission I might go down a different way. So it's really nice that there's enough cards that you can kind of change your deck in between every mission to make it feel a little bit more unique. And the music is just great. Like, I love the music. It's very calm. It's very chill. And so just playing through each map and each mission, it's strategic enough and hard enough to make it fun, but it's also not so crazy hard that the music and the beautiful 3D and everything, it makes it very relaxing. So I am really looking forward to this game when it comes out. I will probably be one of the first ones to play through the whole thing and try all the different houses. And hopefully, based on watching this video, you will be able to make that same decision. So I'm going to let the rest of the video play so you can see the game in action and hear the music and how beautiful it is in the ambiance without me talking. So don't leave, don't go away. But I really would like to hear your comments below on what you think of this first impression and if this is a game that you might enjoy, and probably try and wishlist it so you can play it on Steam. I hope you enjoyed the video. This is Van from the Vaniverse Gaming channel. Cheers and peace out.